What's up? So I was working on this synth patch. Sounds like this. And I don't really know how I made it, so we're not really going to go over that today. That was just kind of like experimentation. But while I was working on that, I put together this little chain and snap heap where it's basically just two ring modulators. And when you stack them together in series, you get this kind of like debris tearing ripping sound that you could probably imagine accompanying a scene where like an earthquake is like shattering a home and you could like hear the earth spreading and ripping and tearing apart. So it sounds a little bit like this. So to arrive at that sound, you could start with any source signal. Because I was working on that patch, here's how it sounds through it. But just to show you, it doesn't really matter what you use. Here's Serum with just a saw wave default patch. Same kind of deal. So the first step is to load up an instance of SnapHeap. I've got 4 dispersers, all at the default settings, just doing the classic all pass phasey sound that we all know and kind of love. And then we've got this curve. It's not really doing too much. This is just making it such that every time I trigger a key through MIDI, this isn't going to play longer than about 1.9 seconds because I don't want it to just go on and on and on forever. And then I've got 2 ring modulators, and this is where the bulk of the sound is really coming from. So in this first instance, let's disable everything else. If you set the modulator to low pass noise, that's kind of what you're hearing. It's just this low pass noisy sound, just introducing a lot of spiky transients. And there's nothing really too interesting about it, but if you load in a second ring modulator, kind of slows the rate down and it makes it a little bit more articulate so that you can make out the transients and the movement and whatnot. So then the next part of the sound is M vocoder. So if you take a vocoder and you route the same signal through the left and right sidechain inputs, you can start to get that classic wet sci-fi sound. Let's bring this down. You can mess with the form and shift to taste as well. And then we're going to go through OTT to really bring up those low-level details. Then we can go through something like transgressor just to accentuate the transients. And then you could use something like soothe just to tame the resonances if you don't want to get too finicky with an EQ. And then you could go back to the snap heap effect and you could just adjust the center frequency. To almost get like different viscosities of tearing. The higher you raise the center frequency, the more kind of sounds a little bit shrill and noisy. And then when you bring it down, a bit denser, a little more thick. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.